네, 안녕하세요, 여러분. 반갑습니다. 어서 오세요. Welcome back to Talk to Me in Korean. This is our level 2 review. 네, 어서 오세요. To everybody who was waiting in the chat, 안녕하세요. Thank you for being early. We are starting 1 minute earlier than scheduled, and this is level 2 review. So we have 10 levels in our curriculum. Level 1 all the way to level 10, and at the end of level 10 you can actually have advanced level conversations, and we have additional materials to supplement your studies in addition to our curriculum. So level 1 to level 10 are our grammar courses, and we have other materials and courses and books, apps that can supplement your Korean learning, whatever it is that you need. So we are in level 2, just to give you an idea of where we are right now in terms of all the different levels. 안녕하세요. Rihanna, Charity, Samantha, 그다음에 Omar, Naomi, Shahed, 복귀자님, 김치루, 그리고 Mariam, Rio, 안녕하세요. 좋아요. Tricia, I hope I am pronouncing all the names correctly. Will, 리다님, 안녕하세요. 이넷, 야넷, 좋아요. 락시미님도 보이네요. So today, this is going to be a review, and one piece of very exciting news is that if you saw our level 1 course revamped and updated and renewed on our website at talktomeinkorean.com, here, let me show you really quickly where is the website. So here, when you go to courses.talktomeinkorean.com, or just go to talktomeinkorean.com and go here to the course section of our platform, you will see that our level 1 course has been renewed. So like this. So if you go to our core curriculum, we have 10 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the way to level 10. Newbie is our Hangul course. So if you haven't learned how to read Hangul, the Hangul characters or letters, the Korean alphabet, you can learn Hangul here or on our YouTube channel here. And as you can see, the level 1 course has been redesigned to be in video format. Let me turn off video. Yeah, like that. And a lot of people loved it. So we are working on level 2, and level 2's video lessons are coming today. 네, 오늘 update 됩니다. The second level is updated today. So you can go to our website and look at this course, and it'll be turned into a video course today. 좋아요. Okay, so with that news shared, let me start right away with our review for today. All right. 네, 준비되셨나요? Are you ready? So I will be obviously mixing some more advanced Korean phrases here and there, but if you have studied with level 2, everything here will be something that's familiar to you. And if you're watching as a recording, watching this recording, I know a lot of people can't tune in at the same time, so in real time. So a lot of people watch the recording. So let's get started right away. So if you're watching the recording, it'll be a good review. And also, if you haven't studied with level 2 yet, it'll be a good preview for you, like kind of learning what to expect in this upcoming level. Level 2, lesson 1 is about how to form the basic future tense. Thank you so much. I am seeing all the comments going up. I will first go over the lessons and then come back to your comments and have a Q&A session at the end. Today's live class will be about, I'm thinking, 80 minutes long. So let's stay strong, stay focused, and study together. And you might hear during the class some noise in the background as my kids wake up, have breakfast, and then start preparing to go to school and then actually leave. So yeah, you might hear them. Anyway, the first lesson is the future tense. The future tense, as you know, will be is expressed through this form. 을 거예요. This part, 을 after consonants and just 리을 after vowels, just for ease of pronunciation. This is the key element that signals to the listener that we're talking about the future, something that will happen in the future. And then future tense sentences are also used to talk about your assumptions. 을 거예요. So, some examples. 보다, to see, to look, changes to 볼 거예요. 볼 거예요. 가다, to go, changes to 갈 거예요. So again, if you're not completely used to the future tense in the Korean language, just look for this real sound, 을, kind of like in the English language. When you hear 을 or 을 like that, you know. Yeah, why does the quotation mark doesn't change? Yeah, so like that. It's the same sound, I'll, you will, you know. So you can kind of use it as a mnemonic device like that, 을 거예요. And 하다 changes to 할 거예요. Quite simple, right? And there are some exceptions. When the verb stem already ends with 리을, there's no need or way to add another 리을, right? So 놀다, 놀 거예요. So just drop 다 and then it becomes 놀 거예요. And as we emphasized in many of our future tense related lessons, this 예요 is often pronounced by native Koreans as the simple 에요, 거예요. So people also mistype or write typos because they pronounce it like 거예요. So you will also see a lot of people typing like 거예요, which is incorrect technically, but often seen in everyday life. Okay? Some sample sentences. 이거 정말 할 거예요? Are you really going to do this? 이거 정말 할 거예요? So like this, the future tense sentences in Korean can be translated into English as are you going to? I am going to. I will. You will. I shall. etc. 이거 정말 할 거예요? 하다. 이거, this thing, 정말, really, seriously, 할 거예요? Are you really going to do this? The subject is understood here, not written or said, but you understand. 뭐 입을 거예요? 입다 is to wear, to put on clothes. 뭐 입을 거예요? 뭐 입을 거예요? What are you going to wear? 누구 만날 거예요? Who are you going to meet? Whom are you going to meet? 만나다 is to meet. 하다, 입다, 만나다 are the verbs that are used here. Okay, so far so good. How is lesson 1? How is the pace? Let me know. And if you are not familiar with Hangul, the Korean writing system, Hangul, you can learn Hangul pretty easily. Just invest a couple of hours into it. We have a course on our website here. If you go to our website and go to the newbie section, and if you also go to our YouTube channel, we actually posted the same course for free on YouTube so that more people can get started and then move over to our curriculum to actually start learning more earnestly. So pace is good. Thank you. And if you've been on the fence about signing up on our course platform and joining our curriculum, we are actually having a sale today. So the sale won't last forever. So this is a good opportunity for you to actually take the offer if you're interested in studying more systematically. So go check out our website after this live class is over. Okay, the next lesson, I'm glad that everybody thinks that the pace is good. 속도 좋아요. Pace is, or speed is 속도. 속 means fast. 도 means degree. So the degree at which it is fast, how fast something is. 속도, 속도, 괜찮아요. All right. Lesson 2 of level 2 is object marking particles, 을 and 를. These are very, very useful, and these are often omitted in the Korean language. Whenever people don't know what to use in terms of particles, they often drop it, and the context will take care of the rest. So, 을 after consonants, 를 after vowels. So, for example, you can say 사과, apple, 먹었어요, 먹다 in the past tense. In the past tense, 먹었어요. 사과 먹었어요. I ate an apple. This is perfectly sufficient, perfectly good. 사과를 먹었어요. But this is the original form that you came from, right? 사과를 먹었어요. And then you drop 를 and then 사과 먹었어요. 텔레비전 봐요. I watch TV. 텔레비전을 봐요. 텔레비전을 봐요. I watch TV. The same translation between these two sentences in both pairs. I think it's interesting that the notion of watching television has evolved so much. You know, now when people say that they watch TV, you know, they're watching Netflix, they're watching, you know, unreal-time TV, right? So anyway, then why would you add back the object marking particle when 사과 먹었어요 suffices? Well, in the case where you want to emphasize, so starting from the base rule, when you want to say that you ate an apple, you ate, and what did you eat? The object is 사과, so you have to have the marker, but then since the context is clear, you drop it, but then when you want to add back, it's only when you want to emphasize. So what did you eat? Did you eat a banana? Did you eat a pineapple? No, 사과를 먹었어요. So when you want to emphasize what it is that you ate, you can sometimes hear people say 사과를. 텔레비전 봐요? 영화 봐요? 책 봐요? Are you reading a book? Oh, 보다. You can say that you are reading a book using the same verb. I am reading a book. And then you feel some frustration and you're like, no, aren't you not listening to me? I am watching TV, not other things. 텔레비전을 봐요. And obviously in that scenario, you will be adding other kinds of endings like 텔레비전을 보고 있다니까요. Like that, more dramatic. But you will learn these other endings later on when we review or when you study on your own with our courses on our site. Liliana, live classes are back. I miss them so much. 너무 행복해요. 감사합니다. 저도 와주셔서 기쁩니다. I'm glad that you are here. Okay, lesson 3. Lesson 3 introduces how to say and then, therefore, and so, using these two expressions, 그리고 and 그래서. 그리고 그래서. 그리고 그래서. I'm going to say one last time that if you are not used to reading, if you haven't learned Hangul, you can learn it within just a couple of hours with our course here on YouTube or on our website at talktomekorean.com. And that is why from this lesson on, in the review sessions, we're going to review all 10 levels together. And we are not including any romanization anymore, okay? Only in level 1. So, 그리고, 그래서. So, 그리고 can be used to link nouns or sentences. So, 커피, 빵, 그리고 물. Coffee, bread, and water. 커피 그리고 빵. You can say it like that. Quite easy. 그리고. So, 서울 그리고 부산. Seoul and Busan. Two cities that people often visit when they come to Korea. And it's quite easy to visit both cities during one visit to this country because those two cities are linked by this KTX train. Takes about 2.5 hours, so it's pretty easy. I recommend it. And then you can also link two sentences with 그리고, just like the English word and does. 친구를 만났어요. 그리고 밥을 먹었어요. And then 그래서 오늘은 비가 왔어요. It rained today. 그래서 so 집에 있었어요. I stayed at home. Pretty straightforward and easy. 그리고 그래서. Well, since it's a review, some pronunciation tips. 그리고. So the pronunciation is 그리고. I guess if you want to pronounce it like in textbook audio clips, 그리고. But people often just say 그리고. It sounds like 그리고. And you might often also just hear the end of it, like 그리고 커피, 빵, 그리고 물, like that. This is really like, so let me just put it this way. 그리고, and this portion is really small, like that. 그리고 also similarly, 그래서, so, therefore, 그래서 yeah, kind of like that. Excuse me. Oh, this is interesting. I said I was going to answer questions later on, but related to lesson 2, how would you say that the TV is watching me? 텔레비전이 저를 봐요. So you can say 텔레비전이 저를 봐요, but this is more like the plain present tense. The TV looks at me. So if you want to say that the television is watching you, 이 저를 보고 있어요. You will need to use the present progressive form, which we will review together later on. So we just looked at 그리고 and 그래서 and the pronunciation. 그래서 like you will often hear the ending 서 only in very fluent and quick conversations. Okay, and connected to 그리고, we have another way or two ways to say and. So when you, for example, 이거 그리고 이거, when you say it like that, it's okay, it works, but it sounds a bit like a robot. So what a robot would say, 이거 그리고 이거 그리고 이거, because you are adding a longer word, kind of like an afterthought. Okay, you almost finished your speech, but then you're like 그리고 이거, 그리고 이거. So in order to avoid sounding like that, you can just use this one. 이거 하고 이거. 이거 하고 이거. So this is more fluent. Or you can say 이거랑 이거, 이거랑 이거. This one sounds more casual. This one sounds slightly less casual. So 이거랑 이거. So children, small children will often say 이거랑 이거. This one and this one. What do you want to eat? What do you want to have? 이거랑 이거. 우유하고 빵. Milk and bread. 우유하고 빵. Milk and bread. 우 means cow. 유 means milk, cow milk. So if it's other types of milk from other animals, it's not 우유. And then 빵. So 우유랑 빵. Fairly easy. So again, 하고 and 랑 are mostly interchangeable. 랑 sounds cuter, in my opinion. So therefore, it sounds more casual. So you can say also 우유하고 빵 샀어요. And then you can also list places. 어제, yesterday, 홍대하고 신촌 갔어요. 신촌에 갔어요. Location marker. 어제 홍대하고 신촌에 갔어요. So I went to 홍대 and 신촌. So you can say 어제 홍대 그리고 신촌에 갔어요. It's okay. Technically, it's not grammatically wrong, but it sounds less natural because it's just added like an afterthought. So 홍대랑 신촌에 갔어요 also works. So let me remind you we are reviewing level 2 if you are just coming in to catch the live class. That is why I'm not introducing everything as if it were the first time. So I hope the pace is okay for most people. And 하고, as you might recall, is also used to mean with. So you will have to look at the context and situation to figure out the actual meaning. So, for example, when you hear a sentence like this, does it mean I watched a movie with a friend, or does it mean I watched a friend and watched a movie? The context is pretty clear. Or I saw a movie, I saw a friend. No, it doesn't work like that in this case because seeing a friend in Korean uses a different verb. 친구를 만나다, to meet. So, yeah, this is a good example of 하고 or 랑 meaning with. 친구랑 영화 봤어요. And then you can often see 하고 and 랑 used together in one sentence. 어제 친구하고 홍대랑 신촌에 갔어요. Here, 하고랑 are interchangeable, but we are using these separately to kind of mark that, okay, this 하고 means with, and this 랑 means and. 어제 친구하고 홍대랑 신촌에 갔어요. Or you can just swap places between these two expressions. 어제 친구랑 홍대하고 신촌에 갔어요. Okay, although it's not completely related to the lesson itself, some fun facts, I guess. 신촌, if you look at the Chinese characters, if you go to the subway station, you can still see the 한자 characters there written next to the name in on the walls of the subway station, and it means new town. So 신촌, when it was built, it was relatively new, 신촌, and it doesn't feel so new anymore because it's been around for a while and it's less crowded than Hongdae or some neighboring places. So it doesn't give off the new vibe, right? And then Hongdae is actually the name of a university. 홍익대학교. But people just shorten it to 홍대. 고려대학교 is 고대. 연세대학교 is 연대. What else is there? 건국대학교 is 건대, because saying 대학교 every single time is too long. So yeah, Korea University, KU, Yonsei University, Yonsei, Konkuk University, KKU. So Hongik University is also just shortened to Hongdae, and it has also become known as the area name rather than the actual university. And if you come to the Hongdae area, you might wonder, where is the university that everybody's talking about? It's kind of on top of this hill that, yeah, you don't have to go all the way up to the university. You can see it, and it's kind of outside of the general Hongdae area where people hang out. So the area is called Hongdae now, just for your reference. Okay, and then lesson 5 is days of the week. This is something that you have to kind of memorize no matter what language you learn for the first time, right? You have to repeat it every single day and then get used to it over time. 월요일, 화요일, 수요일, and so on. 요일 is the part that marks that you're talking about the day of the week. And then, yeah, so this part means it's the day of the week that you are talking about, and 일 means day, and 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일, these are the names. You can either kind of recite it like 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일, 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일, Monday through Sunday, or 일, 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, if your week on your calendar starts with a Sunday, 일, 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토. Okay? 일, 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토. Fun thing is that just like in English and many other languages, European languages, these names are related to planet names too in Korea. So 화요일's 화성 is Mars. Mars. 화 means fire. So 수성, water, Mercury is 수성. 목성, Jupiter. From Thursday. From Friday, 금성, Venus. From Saturday, Saturn. And then 월 is the moon. 일 is the sun. All right. 일, 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토. 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일. I'm more used to saying 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일. And fun fact also, yeah, a good thing about like review sessions is that when it's the first time that a learner is acquiring some information, I need to focus on the new information that is given. But when it's a review session, I can assume that everybody knows already this piece of information, and then I can add to it, right? When Korean native speakers say 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일 really quickly, it sounds like 워라. Like, so this 화 part kind of becomes a little soft. 월, instead of saying 월화 or even 월화, 월화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일. Kind of like that. 월화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일. So you can even hear it as I say it. 월화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일. All right. Lesson 6 already. We've done 1/6 of the lessons. 6분의 1 했어요. 1/6 in Korean is 6분의 1. 6분의 1. 6분의 1. 6분의 1 or 6분의 1. And if you are curious about these math terms and how to say 1 plus 1, 1 minus 1, 3 minus 1, 4 divided by 2. We also have a Korean numbers course where we go into math terms and how to talk about some equations in Korean, etc. So you will like that. And again, on our website, we're having a sale for our annual subscription. So you can go to this checkout page and click on the yearly subscription and then get 50% off your first year only during this week and a few more days. So yeah, hurry up and get the offer on the checkout page and take it. Lesson 6. But, however, 그렇지만, 그런데. So 그렇지만 sounds more formal. 그런데 sounds slightly less formal, a little more casual. For example, 피곤해요. I am tired. 그렇지만 영화 보고 싶어요. 그렇지만, but, however, 영화 보고 싶어요. I want to watch a movie. 피곤해요. 그런데 영화 보고 싶어요. But I want to watch a movie. This sounds more fluent in everyday conversations, more common. 그런데 is slightly less formal. Another example, 어제 이거 샀어요. I bought this yesterday. 어제 이거, this thing, 샀어요. I bought, past tense. 그렇지만, however, 정말 커요. Really big. 어제 이거 샀어요. 그런데 정말 커요. So that's the basics of how these two words work. But what's interesting is 그런데 is also used to mean and. It doesn't always work as however. It doesn't always show contrast between two sentences because it's commonly used when you're talking about something that happened. It's a storytelling tool. So for example, 어제 학교에 갔어요. 그런데 일요일이었어요. Once again, 어제, yesterday, 학교에 갔어요. I went to school. 학교, school, a location marker, to 갔어요. I went, past tense. 그런데 일요일이었어요. We just talked about Sunday. 이었어요. It was a Sunday. And depending on the context and the story, you can translate it as I thought it was a Monday, so I went to school, but it was Sunday. Or just as, and you know what? I went to school yesterday and it turns out it was a Sunday. So kind of like that. So 그런데 is so commonly used as and as well. Okay. Lesson 7. In this lesson, we talked about how to say to and from someone. 한테 is only used to talk about to and from someone, not to something or to some place. It's about people only, 한테. And what's funny is 한테 can mean either to or from. So, 친구한테, to a friend or from a friend. So it really depends on the verb. So for example, when you say 친구한테 말했어요, I told a friend, I said to a friend, 말하다, to talk, 말하다, to talk, to speak, to say. 친구한테 들었어요, 듣다, to listen, to hear. 친구한테 들었어요. So when you just have this portion, you are not sure whether you're talking about to or from. 친구한테 말했어요, 친구한테 들었어요. 친구한테, for example, 누구한테 줬어요? Who did you give it to? 누구한테 받았어요? Who did you receive it from? Right? It really changes directions. So, therefore, when you want to make sure that the other person knows that you are clearly talking about from someone, you use this form, 한테서. This is only from. Okay? Summary, 한테 works as to or from, both. 한테서 only means from. 친구한테서, 누구한테서. Yeah. All right. Lesson 8 is telling the time. So 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열 from 1 through 10. We learned it in level 1, the native Korean numbers, and you just add 시 to mean a clock. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock. But what's interesting is 1, 2, 3, 4 changes shape a little bit before 시, and it's not only about only before 시, it's whenever you count things using 1, 2, 3, and 4 to make the pronunciation easier. Because if you imagine 하나시, it would work, but it's a little longer, and 둘시 would require more pronunciation effort because of that real at the end, and 셋, oops, spelling error. Yeah, 셋시 also requires more effort, just a little bit more effort because you have to stop the wind and then go again, 넷시. And my guess is that 1, 2, 3, 4 are such commonly used numbers that Korean people kind of have started doing that. So 한시, 두시, 세시, 네시. And then the rest are the same. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 한시, 두시, 세시, 네시. Okay? And then what works as a, I guess, headache inducer for many learners is that we say 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷 for the hour and then 1, 2, 3, 4 for the minute, right? So you use Sino-Korean numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 1 through 10 for the minute. So 1 o'clock, 1:01 or 1:1 will be 1시 1분. So 1:05, 1시 5분. It's not 1시 1분 or 1시 1분. It's 1시 1분. Native, Sino. Native, Sino. 3시 20분. 10시 30분. Like that, right? And then when you want to ask what time is it, you use 몇. 몇 means how many, how much sometimes. So when you're asking for the number as the answer, the amount, quantity, you say 몇. And you can also say 몇 살 to mean how old. So 몇 시예요? 몇 시예요? And like I mentioned in the first lesson for the future tense, 몇 시예요 sounds often like 몇 시에요 without the extra y sound in everyday speech. So you will hear that version as well. And then if you want to say exactly what time is it, what time, what hour, what minute, 몇 시 몇 분이에요? This is often said by children when they're being childish, like 몇 시 몇 분이에요? Like what time is it? You know, exactly how many minutes to 2 o'clock, how many minutes to 3 o'clock. Okay? 몇 시예요? Yes, numbers, struggling with numbers is very common, and you just have to review them a lot until you get super used to them. And lesson 9, we're gonna actually go all the way to lesson 10, and then maybe I'm gonna take a quick break and look at the comments, and then move forward with lesson 11 and forward. Lesson 9, counters. Counters are very important in Korean. In English, you can say 1 apple, 1 cup, 1 phone, but you can't do that in Korean in most cases. You just have to use number and the noun and the counting unit. So 개 is for most objects or objects in general. 명 is people in general, right? So you have the examples here. 한 개, 두 개, 세 개, 네 개. You see 하나 changing to 한, 둘 changing to 두 for two, and then two and two sound exactly or very similar when you put it this way. And 세 개, 3, 4, 다섯 개. Okay? So 한 명, 두 명, 세 명, etc. 한 명, 두 명, 세 명. And we have hundreds of counters in the Korean language, and these are just some major ones. You use 한 병, 두 병, 세 병 for bottles. 한 마리, 두 마리, 세 마리 for animals. 한 대, 두 대, 세 대 for cars, vehicles in general, boats as well. And then sometimes punches. 한 대, 두 대, 세 대. And then 권 for books. 한 권, 두 권, 세 권. 한 장, 두 장, 세 장 for pages and tickets. And then maybe I can say 1 cup, 1 glass of coffee. 한 잔. 잔. 좋아요. Okay, lesson 10. Present progressive. You are in the middle of doing something. 고 있다. 있다 means to be, or to be doing something, to be in a certain state, and 고 marks the present or progressive form. So 보다, to look, to see, to watch. 보고 있어요. I am looking, I am watching. 오다, to come. 오고 있어요. They are coming. 자다, sleep. 자고 있어요. I am sleeping, they are sleeping, she's sleeping, he's sleeping. 자고 있었어요. They were sleeping in the past. 자고 있었어요. So this portion stays the same. The ending changes to mark the tense. 자고 있었어요. So you can pick up the phone and say, oh, I was sleeping. That's why I didn't know. 자고 있을 거예요. So in the first lesson when we were reviewing, I mentioned that the future tense form is used to talk about assumptions, right? And this is a good example. 자고 있을 거예요. So you can look at it in two ways. It can either be, oh, if you call me at 11 p.m., I will be sleeping, talking about the future. Or when you are talking about calling someone up right now and you think that this person is sleeping, even though it's not about the future, you can say, oh, I think he's sleeping. So you can also use this to express your guess. Okay, right before we jump into the self-introduction lesson in lesson 11, let me just quickly look at your comments. Today I did it a little differently because in the previous live class about 2 weeks ago, I did look at a lot of the comments, and I looked back on the video, and It was great for real-time viewers, you guys who are watching right now, participating right now, but for people who are like watching the recorded version, maybe not so efficient. So that's why I went through all the lessons first. Okay, thank you. 월화수목금토일. Thank you for mentioning that the tidbits of reference information that I mentioned are useful. And oh, you also find romanization quite distracting personally, right? And romanization, the fact that they are the romanization is distracting is true. And also, when you have romanization, you kind of develop a tendency to pronounce things like the romanization. So one of the most common pronunciation questions that we get is when you have the Korean 기억, you know, the name of this letter, consonant is 기억, right? People often ask us in the comments or in person, does it sound like G or K, or is it something more like H? And my answer is always, none of those. None of those. 기억 is its own sound. It's not G, it's not K, it's not KH, it's not GH, it's none of those. It's a different sound, right? You know, there are obviously ranges of sounds that a human mouth and the vocal cord can make together, the tongue in collaboration. And then 기억 is here and G is here. Of course, there's some overlapping areas, but then 기억 is just 기억. So yeah, romanization is distracting but also misleading, but we had to use it in our beginner levels because without it, it's also quite daunting for many people, but as soon as possible, you have to move away from it. 기억, yeah. 기억 is memory, right? And then 기억 is this letter. But to be fair, 기억 sounds the same when you say them fast. Yeah. 을을 is confusing. Yes, 을을 can be confusing. All the particles can be confusing. Oh, you came here after Billy's lesson. Yeah. Billy, I saw him about a month ago in Korea. 그 다음에, yeah, there are so many particles. 은는 이가 can be the most confusing and frustrating at the same time. But don't worry. Try your best to understand your particle lessons. And then once you've done enough, stop worrying about it and then move on. And just read a ton and then you will understand. You will get used to it. Fantastic. 그러면 lesson 11 가겠습니다. Self-introduction. 자기소개. So I'm gonna just remind myself to talk about the word itself, 자기소개. So 저는 so and so 이에요. You know, you can just put your name. 저는 현우이에요. So if the word ends with, so for example, 현우이에요 ends with a vowel, you add 예요. But as you know, 예요 and 예요 sound pretty similar. 저는 so and so 예요. 저는, you can say so and so가 why? Okay. Yeah. So for example, I'm wondering why did I put this? But you can say I have so and so. 저는 동생이 있어요. I have a younger sibling. 저는 동생이 없어요. 저는 언니가 있어요. 저는 언니가 없어요. I have an older sister for a female, etc. And then you can say 저는 서울에 살고 있어요. I'm living in Seoul. 저는 학교에서 일해요. I work at a school, etc. So you can talk about your name or your job title or what you do, what you are, and then you can talk about what you have, and you can talk about what where you live, where you work, where you do anything. 저는 마리암이에요. 저는 언니랑 여동생이 없어요. Exactly. You can say it like that. So, self-introduction, we introduce some simple phrases that you can use for introducing yourself. And then some phrases that you often say in addition to your introduction sentences are 처음 뵙겠습니다. 반갑습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. So, 반갑습니다. Nice to meet you. It's a fairly easy sentence to learn and memorize, I think. 반갑습니다. 반갑습니다. Similar to 감사합니다. Like that. But 처음 뵙겠습니다, in my opinion, it's such an advanced sounding sentence for a beginner Korean learner to learn. And many Korean textbooks, when we were writing our curriculum many years ago, I saw that many phrase books actually introduced 처음 뵙겠습니다 in the first chapter, because obviously it's the first chapter and you're meeting people for the first time in those scenarios, but then it's too advanced. So we kind of waited until now to introduce it, because 처음, when you break it down, 처음 is for the first time or just the first time as a noun. 보다 changes to 뵈다, which is honorific. 뵈다. When you say 뵈다, it's only you seeing, meeting the other person. The other person is not 뵈다 you. It's you who are sounding humble and being honorific to the other person, being respectful to the other person, like from a lower point of view to see this person. It's an honor for you to see this person, kind of, almost. And then 뵙겠습니다. This get is, we are going to talk about it later, but get is also used to show your intention, and while showing your intention, you're also waiting for the other person's reaction, response, approval. So 처음 뵙겠습니다. Allow me to see you for the first time today, kind of. 처음 뵙겠습니다. Yeah, so 처음 뵙겠습니다 is how do you do? It's my first time meeting you. So 처음 뵙겠습니다, 반갑습니다 usually go hand in hand. And lastly, 자기소개, I just wanted to talk about the fact that 자기 is self. So 자기개발, self-development. You will often hear this. And then as well, 자기 is honey, sweetheart, between a couple. Okay? So 자기. Whenever you want to say you between a couple, people often say 자기는, like something like that. Honey, or babe, what are you going to eat? Instead of saying 너는, no sounds too, respectless in many occasions. So instead of saying no, even though you use 반말, casual language to each other, 자기는, it's often used in the Korean language, and it doesn't mean self, myself, it means you, yourself. All right. And then lesson 12, talking about the date. 날짜 is the date. And here you use 월. 월, 일, like that. So 1월, 2월, 3월, you can count using Sino-Korean numbers like that. And two exceptions are, it's not 6월, it's 6월, and it's not 10월, it's 10월, just for ease of pronunciation. At first, it's okay to say 6월 or 10월. The other person will perfectly understand what you mean, and they will just gently correct you or just repeat after you by saying 6월, okay, and then you can pick it up. So it's fine. And then what month is 몇 월? It sounds like 몇 월. And 며칠 is what day, what date. So 몇 월, 며칠. So 몇 월 생일이 몇 월 며칠이에요? What month and what day of the year is your birthday? When is your birthday? 제 생일은 12월 29일이에요. 12월 29일이에요. Using Sino-Korean numbers in both. Okay. Would I pronounce 뵙겠습니다 slowly? Of course. 뵙겠습니다. So 처음 뵙겠습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. Let me go from super slow to 처음 뵙겠습니다. Really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Super slow. 처음 뵙겠습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. How do you do? Speed number 2. 처음 뵙겠습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. Speed number 3. 처음 뵙겠습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. Speed number 4. 처음 뵙겠습니다. People actually say it like that. 처음 뵙겠습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. Okay. Wow. It just dawned on me that 처음 뵙겠습니다 really quickly sounds like 처음 뵙겠습니다. It was pale. 처음 뵙겠습니다. 창백하다 is to have a pale face. 처음 뵙겠습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. Anyway, moving on to lesson 13. Also and to using 도. 저도 학생이에요. I am a student too. 오늘도 일해요. Today as well. Do you work? 오늘도 일해요. You work today too. 이것도 가져왔어요. I brought this one as well. 이것도 가져왔어요. Fairly easy. You just add 도 after whatever you want to emphasize as also. In this case, 저 plus 도, the pronunciation of 도 stays the same. It doesn't change. 오늘도. But here, 이것도, because of the 시옷 preceding it, it changes to 이것도, 또. 이것도. And then, in a related lesson, we talk about how to say also to after a verb. So, in addition to, or not only do I eat pasta, I also cook pasta. When you want to say stuff like that, you can use verb stem plus 기도해요. Basically, 기 turns a verb into a noun, and then you're just adding the same thing, 도, and then say to, I do. So, 보다, to watch, 보기, watching, 도, also, I do. Watching, also, I do. Eating, also, I do. I also eat. I don't just make food, I also eat. And here's a good example. As a pair, 저는 한국어도 가르쳐요. So adding 도 after a noun, I teach other languages, but also the Korean language. 저는 한국어도 가르쳐요. What about I am learning Korean? I learn Korean, but I also teach Korean. So you're adding also to teach, the verb, right? 저는, in this case, 한국어를, you keep everything as is, and then 가르치다 turns into 가르치기 using the noun maker, and then 가르치기도 해요. I also do the act of teaching the Korean language, not just learning it. Okay? Because you can be a Korean learner and a teacher, right? Moving on to lesson 15. Only. 만. So you add 만 after a noun or a pronoun. 이것만. This thing only. 저만. Only me. 커피만, only coffee. And similarly, using this structure, verb stem plus 기, you can also say 듣기만 했어요. I only listened. So this is only this. Only me, only coffee. And then I only listened. So this only portion goes to listened, the verb. In this case, you have to use the 기. 듣기만 했어요. I'm only gonna look. I only played. 놀기만 했어요. Okay? All right. Lesson 16. I hope the pace is okay so far. Just checking with you. 좋아요. Lesson 16 lists many words that you can throw into your sentence to make everything a little more fun, like very, a bit, really, not at all. Varying degrees of intensity. 조금 is a bit. It can be emphasized as 조금, or 조금. So these are not standard spellings, only pronounced. 좀, like that. So when it's a tiny bit of amount, you can say 조금. Just a little bit. And 정말 is really. And 아주 is very. 별로 is not very, not really, not particularly. And 전혀 is not at all. 전혀. All right? Words you will have to practice and remember over time. 조금. And lesson 17. You learn can and can't in this lesson. 을 수 있다, 을 수 없다. Once again, for those of you who are just tuning in right now, we have all of our lessons on our website at talktomeinkorean.com, and you can learn with these lessons like that. And this is the first level. And we are actually launching the second level, level 2, in this format in full video today. You will see the update coming today, so please check back on our website. And today we're also having a sale on our yearly subscription, so this is a good opportunity for you. And we also have books that you can study with, shipped worldwide. You can also get our books on Amazon. Just type Talk to Me in Korean there. And we have a speaking practice app and a reading app. So we have everything that you need, I guess, in different stages of your Korean learning journey that you can use to study and improve Korean. Thank you for listening to my advertisement for our own services. I appreciate that. And can and can't. 을 수 있다. 수, as I emphasize in our lesson, 수 means method or way. Oh, thank you, Shira, for loving 세요. 세요 is our speaking practice app, and we are working really hard on improving it every week, every month. And yeah, you will see the improvements coming very soon, updates. We want to offer 세요 and Talk to Me in Korean stories in multiple languages in the future, so we're working on that roadmap as well. So 수 있다, 을, again, circling back to the first lesson, the future tense lesson, I mentioned that this 리을 talks about the future, and here it's the same. 을 수, the method to do so and so in the future, toward the future. 을 수 있다. There is a method, there is a way to do it. There is no way to do it. So you can and can't. 잘 수 있어요. I can sleep. 잘 수 없어요. I can't sleep. 잡을 수 있어요. I can catch it. Maybe talking about mosquitoes. Thieves, mosquitoes. Balls, catch a ball in the air. 잡을 수 없어요. I can't catch it. And then instead of just saying 을 수 없어요 all the time, there is a convenient single syllable word that you can add before a verb. 못. 못 가요, 못 봐요, 못 먹어요. Is there a way to say can without using the 수 있다 form? Like you can do it with can't by using 못. 수 있어요. There are other ways. 줄 알다. I know, to know how to do something, but not like 못, a convenient short way to do that. No, 할 수 있어요. I think it's actually fairly short as is. So you will see that soon. And then to be good at something, to be bad at something. 잘하다, 못하다. In our lesson, we mentioned that 잘하다 originally was just to do well. So 잘, well, 하다, to do, 잘하다, to do something well, right? So you will also see many native Korean speakers just writing it like this with a space between 잘 and 하다 because they are two separate words originally, but they have become one word, 잘하다, right now. In 2025, you can see this one as the standard form, 잘하다, only when it means to be good at something. Okay, so 노래를 잘하다, to be good at singing. 요리를 잘하다, to be good at cooking, to be a good cook. 수영을 잘하다, to be good at swimming. Yeah, it can be a bit confusing, but you'll see. Like if it's something that you have as a skill, you can just put them together, 잘하다. And it's only with 하다 as well. With other verbs, you just write it regularly. 글씨를, handwriting, 잘 쓰다. Well, write. puzzle을, puzzles, well, solve. 잘 풀다. 사람들의 다른 사람들의 마음을 읽는 걸 잘해요. Yeah. 다른 사람들의 마음을 읽는 걸, other people's mind or heart, reading other people's minds, 잘해요. You're good at it. In that case, you can say 잘해요. Like that. You can write it like that. 잘해요. All right. Lesson 19 is about, well, we just saw an example of that, making verbs into nouns. This is the second way to turn verbs into nouns in addition to the key, so-and-so key. So, 는 것 is the basic form, and people just pronounce it more simply as 는 거. So, 영화 보는 것, watching a movie. 오늘 만나는 것, meeting, or the fact that we are meeting. So, when you change a verb into this form, it's the act of doing so-and-so, or the concept of doing so-and-so, or the fact that so-and-so does so-and-so. Mainly three, I think. So, 영화 보는 것 좋아해요. I like watching movies. Do you know that we are meeting today? And then 매운 거. This one is also fun because it has formed a fixed expression. 매운 거, 맵다. To be spicy. It's an irregular verb with that 비읍. There are many 비읍 verbs in Korean that are conjugated irregularly, basically meaning you drop 비읍 and then add 우, 매운 것. It means the thing that's spicy. So by it being a fixed expression, I mean it just means spicy food. 매운 것. So it can be anything in the world that's spicy, right? But it just refers to spicy food naturally. 감사합니다. Oh, Chris, 감사합니다. Thank you. Thank you so much for your compliment. Lesson 20. We're almost there. We have just 11 lessons to go, everybody. Stay focused. Have to, should, must. Ya is the element that you're looking for here. So a or yo basically just they change depending on what verb stem comes before it. But ya is the conditional element that you are adding in Korean to mean have to, should. So for this to happen, that condition should be met. That's ya. So 자야 돼요. 자야 해요. Okay? 되다 means to become, to be possible, to work. It goes smoothly. 하다 is also used at the end to mean I have to. So the form is 야 되다, 야 하다. 자야 돼요. I have to sleep. I have to write. So okay. Some examples. 집에 가야 돼요. I have to go home. 집에 house to 가야 돼요. I have to go home. Just remember 야 돼요 and then try attaching it to many verbs as possible. And then this is a sentence that means 저는 as for me what should I do? 저는 뭐 해야 돼요? 저는 뭐 해야 돼요? You can say it like that. 뭐 해야 돼요? Alright, so this was a lesson on have to, should, must. So students can often say 숙제해야 돼요. I have to do my homework. Adults often say 일해야 돼요. I have to work. What does 하다 mean here? Only if you okay. 하다. So originally, 되다 is clearer as a word that means it works. Only if this condition is met, everything works. 하다 is there. First of all, this one sounds more casual and it's more common in everyday Korean. This sounds more formal. 자야 해요. So my children won't often say 자야 해요, 숙제해야 해요 in their day-to-day speech. It's often in writing. And yeah, I know the must element is loose here. So you can just, I guess, think of it as an arbitrary combination in this case. It doesn't carry anything inherently, meaning pointing to must. 자야 돼요. So this is clearer. If this can answer your question, 자야 해요. Yeah. I think that's the only thing I can offer as an explanation. It's a little loose, but people often do use it as a formal way to say I must. Okay. Does Talk to Me in Korean curriculum also teach informal language? Yes, we do. We have, I don't know if I can find it right away right now. If you go to the curriculum page, you have how to talk casually. Oh, I found it here. How to speak casually in Korean. We have how many lessons? We have 13 lessons and a course summary in this course. So yeah, 13 video lessons here. How to speak casually. We have a full course on speaking 반말. So yeah, it's an implicit way to say 야 해요. So the so-and-so 야 itself is enough. Actually, that brings up a good point. 이거를 빨리 해야. So imagine that you have this kind of sentence. It's a chat, it's a KakaoTalk message, and then the other person didn't finish the sentence. So they're talking about a task, a document that they have to write, and they're like, I have to. So 이거를, this one, 빨리 quickly 해야. 이거를 빨리 해야. And then the remaining part is not even there, not even mentioned, but you know that, oh, I gotta do this so that I can, etc. So 하다 is not really needed here, but you're just finishing it with a very commonly used verb. I hope that makes it slightly more clear. Sometimes I just can't find the perfect explanation that I find satisfying myself. 좋아요. Lesson 21. More than something. More is 더. Than is 보다. So quicker is 더 빠르다. To be more expensive is 더 비싸다. Than what? 이거보다. Than this one. Than yesterday. 어제보다. So 오늘은 어제보다 더워요. Today, than yesterday, compared to yesterday, hot. So when you have this sentence, the meaning itself is already clear enough. Compared to yesterday, today is hot. So it means today is hotter, even though you have no word that means more. So this is clear enough. People actually say it without the top part, but if you want to make it extra clear, you add 더 for more emphasis. 오늘은 어제보다 더 더워요. But on the other hand, there is no way to omit 보다. 오늘은 어제 더 더워요. There's no way to do that. So 오늘은 어제보다 더워요. Or 오늘은 어제보다 더 더워요. And also in this kind of scenario, it'll be interesting if a learner can maybe hear the difference between 더 and 더워요. 더 더워요. Maybe you're hearing this part when things are pronounced slowly. 오늘은 어제보다 더, and then your brain goes like, okay, 더 what? And then the verb turns out to be 더워요. And you're like, oh, okay, that's a separate verb. So that can be a possible scenario. 그 다음에 lesson 22. Your 100살보다 더 어려요? 어려요? You're younger than 100 years old? That's good. I think we all are in this room. To be good, to like. So this lesson focuses on the difference between 좋다 and 좋아하다. This is also something that still challenges even advanced speakers of the Korean language. I mean, the difference between these two words is pretty clear. 좋다, to be good. 좋아하다, to like. What challenges advanced learners even is the object marker or the subject marker, like what particle to use. So, for example, 한국어 좋아요 means Korean is good, but thanks to the context, it can also mean I like Korean. So, to me, Korean is good, therefore I like the language. 한국어 좋아요. 한국어가 좋아요. Korean is good. So it's very naturally translated to I like Korean. And if you want to say actively that you like, you do the active action of liking something, you have to use 좋아해요. 한국어 좋아해요. 한국어를 좋아해요. So because technically speaking, when you say 좋아요, to be good, 한국어 is the subject of being good, so you have to use 가. You cannot say 한국어를 좋아요. That's the wrong part. And 좋아하다 is a verb, transitive verb. You have to have an object, so 한국어를 좋아해요. 한국어가 좋아해요 doesn't work. It means the Korean language likes something, the Korean language likes me, the Korean language likes somebody. It doesn't work like that. And therefore, when you're talking about a singer you like, you can either say 이 가수 좋아요. Therefore, 이 가수가 좋아요. 저는 이 가수가 좋아요. I like this singer. Or 이 가수 좋아해요. And therefore add the object marker. 이 가수를 좋아해요. This is the part that even advanced Korean speakers get confused, and then they say 이 가수를 좋아요, 이 가수가 좋아해요. Doesn't work like that. So 이 가수가 means this singer likes so and so. Not that you like the singer. Lucy Goosey hikes. It's been a while since I read your ID, so misread it. Yeah, thank you. We are launching level 2 in this format today, so please go check on our website today, and I hope you enjoy it. Lesson 23. This one is about how to say if or in case. So 만약 is the beginning portion, 만약, if, and 으면 is the ending portion, 만약, so and so, 으면. It's okay to omit 만약 if the context is clear, that's fine, but it's not okay to omit the 으면, the ending 으면 part. It's like a enclosed kind of clause, right? So for example, 길다, to be long, 길면, if it's long, 작다, it's small, 작으면, if it's small, 자다, to sleep, if you sleep. And then you can start your sentence like this. 만약, 지금, 자면, if you go to sleep now. If tomorrow, 비가 오면, if it rains tomorrow. 만약, 내일 비가 오면, if it rains tomorrow, 집에 있을 거예요. I am going to stay at home. And then, like I said, 만약 is somewhat optional. So you don't have to say 만약 every single time. It's just a nice signal to the listener. Hey, I'm going to say a conditional phrase now. Wait for it. 만약. And then you can have a dramatic pause. 만약. And the listener can kind of anticipate the conditional if phrase coming like that. 만약. Lesson 24. Still already. You know, when we were designing our curriculum, the structure of our curriculum, we analyzed the entire Korean language and the grammar points that are necessary for the learner to learn to actually understand the whole structure of the language and speak it. We had roughly 300 to 400 grammar elements. We chose the, main 300 or so elements, and then we decided to divide it into 10 levels, build a 10-level curriculum, deliberately different from the topic levels or the other levels, because we didn't feel like we wanted to match everything to the original conventional structure. And then we were like, okay, but level 1 should be a little shorter because it's for people who are beginning. So we made the level 1 25 lessons. All the other levels are 30 lessons. That is why there's a difference. And does Talk to Me Korean have a book that teaches Korean news? A lot of really good questions about our materials today. Thank you. And yes, we do. We do have a book on News Korean. Let me see. News. These are all our books. This is a new platform that we migrated our bookstore to this one as well. So we don't have all the reviews that we had previously. So if you enjoy studying with our books, and if you have many of our copies, please leave reviews on the books that you have, and that will help us a lot. So yeah, we have these News in Korean book. You can study with news articles that we created based on common themes. Yes. So thank you for the question. Moving back to the lesson. Lesson 24 is still, already, 아직, 벌써. So still, or not yet. So 아직 몰라요. You still don't know. You don't know yet. And then you want to emphasize you still don't know. You don't know yet. You add 도, 아직도, because it means also. So 5 minutes ago you didn't know. 아직, not yet as well. Like not even now. So 아직도. 아직도 몰라요. And then 벌써 means already. 벌써 3시예요. It's already 3 o'clock. 벌써 끝났어요. It's already over. It already ended. 벌써. And then there's another word that means already. And we talked about the difference between 벌써 and 이미 in this lesson. 벌써 has an element of surprise. 벌써 끝났어요. An element of surprise either for the listener or for the speaker. So you can say 벌써 끝났어요. Is the movie already over? Is the class already over? You're surprised. The listener might already know that it's over, but you can be surprised. So when there's a surprise added to the sentence, you can say 벌써, and 이미 is you already know. So 이미 학교를 졸업했어요. 이미. Alright. 아직도, 벌써, 이미. These are the 4 words that we introduced in this lesson. Once again, this is a review, everybody. A reminder. That is why I don't go into all the details as if it were the first time. Lesson 25. Something, someone, somewhere. This some part is expressed in Korean as in the form of 니은 가. So 누구, who, 누군가, someone, 뭐, what, 뭔가, something. 어디, where, 어딘가, somewhere. 언제, when, 언젠가, sometime, one day. Okay, one day, someday, somewhere, something, someone. Okay, so you can say 뭔가 이상해요. Something's strange. 뭔가 이상해요. 여기 어딘가에 있어요. It's somewhere around here. It's somewhere here. It's here somewhere. 누군가 왔어요. Someone came. Someone is at the door. So 뭔가 이상해요. 여기 어딘가에 있어요. 누군가 왔어요. I didn't mean it like earlier or like before when I wrote these as I was preparing for the class, but these 3 sentences sound like maybe part of one story, a thriller novel. 좀 무섭네요. Okay. 니은가. Okay. And then lesson 26 is telling someone to do something using 으세요, but in 존댓말, in formal, polite language. It really depends on whether what you are asking the other person is polite, but the sentence itself is still polite. So for example, 쉬다, rest. 쉬세요. Yeah, please rest. 고르다, choose. 고르세요. So you can say things like, please study. 공부하세요. Study. 빨리 일하세요. I never say this to my coworkers. Okay, trust me. 빨리 일하세요. Quickly. Get back to work or get some work done. Work. 이거 저한테 파세요. Sell this to me. 조심하세요. Be careful. And 안녕하세요. You hear this all the time, right? Of course, it's one of the first things or the first thing you learn in Korean. And 안녕히 가세요 is one of the next few things that you learn. And this one is a question, but this is an imperative sentence using the same structure, 세요, which means please go in peace, please go safely. 안녕히 가세요. Do I say 공부하세요 to my kids a lot? No, I actually maybe say 게임 그만해, like in 반말. But I do play video games a lot with my boys, so yeah. What's something that I say as an imperative to my kids all the time? Maybe make your bed, go take a shower. Oh, 빨리 자, 빨리 자. Yeah, 빨리 자 is something that I say all the time. For sure, I admit, because they're still sharing the same room. They're 11 and 8, and they talk forever at night. My wife and I can hear through the 2 doors between our room and their room, they're like so talkative at night, which is a good thing, I think, but I just sometimes go and knock. 빨리 자. Okay, imperative. 세요. Fun fact. 쉬다. So here, 쉬다. This is not related to the lesson itself, but just something that you can maybe remember. 쉬다 is to rest. But there are two expressions that you can also learn here related to the pronunciation. It's a different word, 목이 쉬다 and 밥이 쉬다. Okay? So 목이 쉬다 doesn't mean your throat or your neck rests. It means you lose your voice. Your voice, you talk so much that your voice becomes hoarse. 목이 쉬다. And 밥이 쉬다 means the rice goes bad. It's like the rice has been around for a while and it starts smelling bad. So 밥이 쉬다, 목이 쉬다. These are unrelated, but they share the same spelling. So you can, since I have been recording a lot of the lessons for the video renewal of our course curriculum, my coworkers and I often exchange these lines like, 목이 쉬었어요. I lost my voice after like recording 10 plus lessons. And then my coworker can say, 이제 좀 쉬세요. So I think it's funny because 쉬었어요, 쉬세요 are used in the same breath, but then they mean completely different things. All right, back to lesson 27. We just have 4 lessons to review together. We've been going strong for the past 90 minutes, I believe. Thank you so much. 우유도 쉴 수 있어요. 우유가 쉬었어요. Yeah. You can say 우유도 쉴 수 있어요. 우유가 쉬었어요. Or 상했어요. I think 상했어요 is more common. But 쉬다 is for food. It's got that, it's right before it goes completely bad. It's good and then it's going bad, but in the process of going completely bad, 완전히 상하기 전에, right before that, there's that phase where it sounds like it smells a little sour. That's the 쉬다 part. Okay. 좋아요. Lesson 27. Using the imperative and 주다 to give, you have this form. 주세요, 주세요, 주세요. Please do this for me. So very closely related to the meaning of please in the English language. So 오세요, come here. 와주세요, please come here, as a favor or as a gesture of collaboration. Work with me and do this for me. 하세요, do it. 해주세요. So whenever you say so-and-so 주세요, remember that 주다 means to give. So this other person who is doing the action is giving you this kindness or service of doing the action. So you are benefiting from it as well, at least partially. So 가르쳐 주세요. 가르치세요 sounds quite rude inherently, mainly because the meaning of to teach is benefiting somebody. So if you think about it, teach. If you say it like that in English, it's not polite. So please teach someone so-and-so well, kindly, etc. Right? 가르치세요 it's rarely used. It has to be 가르쳐 주세요. 가르쳐 주세요. Please teach me. Please teach them. 잘 가르쳐 주세요. Please teach my kid well. You can say it to a teacher. 봐주세요. Please look. 봐주세요. And then here's a good example of an expression that involves 2 words that are so commonly used that they have become one in spelling. 돕다, to help. And 도와요, I help, they help. It's a 비읍 irregular. And then 도와주세요 changes to 도와주세요. one word now. 도와주세요. 도와주다. There are many words in the Korean language like that. And to be fair, Korean spacing rules have changed over time. And if you look at textbooks from the 1980s, they have random spaces in many, many places, including noun plus 이거, 예요. Like, I can't like pinpoint on what era, what year range, but I've seen old text, like old spelling, old spacing. I've seen really old texts actually having a space between a pronoun and the verb. So it changes over time. So this might be different, or this whole thing might be different in 30 years of time. Okay, 28. Particles for method or way. 으로. So it's for usually method or way, but it can be used for materials, language, etc., or cause. So here are some examples, 7 examples, pretty much all different. So 나무로 만들다, to make with wood, made with wood, made of something. 왼쪽으로 가다, go left. 왼쪽으로 가다. You cannot say 왼쪽 가다. You have to say 왼쪽으로. You must use 으로. 왼쪽으로 가다. To in the left direction. 이 길로 가다. This way. Go in this path. 펜으로 쓰다. Write with a pen. 로. Oh, 로 is the hardest particle for you? Yeah, there are so many usages, yes. And 한국어로 말하다. Speak in Korean. 치즈로 유명하다. These two are a little more advanced. 치즈로 유명하다. Famous for its cheese. 사고로 다치다, to get hurt in an accident. So 나무로, made of something, in the direction, using something, in a certain language, famous for something, get hurt in something. Very, very diverse. Some sentences, 버스로 갈 거예요. I'm going to go by bus. You know, transportation. 2번 출구로 나오세요. Come out of exit 2. Come out of an exit. Another usage. Direction, I guess. And here another method of transportation. 오늘 택시로 왔어요. And then another more advanced usage that didn't get mentioned earlier above is 이걸로 할게요. So 이걸로 할게요, or 이것으로 할게요 in its original form, it means I will take this. I will buy this. 이걸로 할게요. So here it's a direction. You're choosing this one, right? You're going for this decision as opposed to other decisions. 이걸로 할게요. It doesn't mean I will do something else with this. It means I will, this is my choice. And yeah, TTMIK으로 yeah. Oh, why is it 길로 when instead of 길으로? Because there's already the real at the end. So it's common when the following particle it starts with real and you already have real in the preceding word as the last consonant. You often don't add 으. Okay? So 그물로 잡다. So 그물 is a fish net, usually net. 그물로 물고기를 잡다. You catch fish with a fishing net. 그물로. Similar example. Thank you for the question. We have 2 lessons, everybody. Okay, you have still some energy left. 감사합니다. More and all. 다 is all, entirely. 더 is more. 다, 더. good pronunciation practice, I think. 다, 더. 다 주세요. Give me everything. 더 주세요. Give me more. That's fairly easy. One thing that's interesting with 다 is that you can actually use 다 to modify a verb. 커피를 다 마셨어요. I finished all the coffee. 책을 다 읽었어요. I read the entire book. So in English, you modify the noun. I read the entire book. I read the whole book. I read all the coffee. I read all the coffee. You can read your coffee if you want. I drank all the coffee. But in Korean, 다 applies directly on the verb. 다 마셨어요. 다 읽었어요. And fun fact, I don't think we mentioned it in the lesson itself, but 다 can also be used as a pronoun, and then you pluralize it. 다들 왔어요? Like, you alls, are you here? You alls, have you come here? Yeah, you can say, I completely finished the book. I completely drank the coffee. Kind of like that. 현팅, 현우 화이팅. Oh, that's novel. Thank you. 새롭네요. That's new. Thank you. Yeah, all y'all like that. 다들. All right, we have the last lesson, which is don't do something. 지 마세요. 말다 is the core verb that you were using. 말다, to stop doing something, to not even start doing something. And in order to form this negative structure, you use 지. It's the same 지 as in 지 않아요. 않다. 나쁘지 않아요. Something like that. 지. And then 지 말다. It's the same one. It's a negative structure connector. So 가지 마세요. Don't go. 하지 마세요. Don't do it. 사지 마세요. Don't buy it. 웃지 마세요. Don't laugh. 걱정하지 마세요. Don't worry. All right. So don't do it. 30 lessons, 96 minutes together. Great job, everyone. 정말 고생 많으셨습니다. 수고하셨습니다. Level 2. So let me quickly go over everything, all just the titles. Future tense 을 거예요. Object marking particles 을을. Lesson 3 was and then 그리고 그래서. Lesson 4 하고 이랑 and with. Days of the week 월, 화, 수, 목, 금, 토, 일. Lesson 6 그렇지만 그런데. Yeah, think of your questions, okay? Lesson 7 한테에서 to and from or to or from. Telling the time 1시, 2시, 3시, 4시. Right now it's 9시 7분 in Korea. 9시 7분. 9:07 in the morning. Counters in lesson 9. 1개, 2개, 3개. Present progressive. 고 있다. Lesson 10. 한국어 공부하고 있어요. We're learning Korean. Self-introduction in lesson 11. What's today's date? 날짜 in lesson 12. Also to using 도 in lesson 13. Also to part 2. 기도해요. Verb stem so and so 하기도 해요. Lesson 14. Only in lesson 15. 16. Very, a bit, really, not at all. Can, can't in lesson 17. Lesson 18. You're good at something. 잘하다, 못하다. And then lesson 19. Turning verbs into nouns. Part 2 or type 2. 는 것. Have to, should, must. In 20, lesson 21 was more than, 더, and 보다. To be good to you, so you like it. 좋다, 좋아하다. If, in case, 만약, so and so, 으면. Still, already, 아직, 벌써. something, someone, somewhere. 누군가, 뭔가, 어딘가, 언젠가. So and so. 세요. Please do it for me. 해주세요. 으로. Way, method. More, all, 다, 더. Please don't do it. 하지 마세요. 걱정하지 마세요. Alright. What 지 마세요 do you say to my kids? Okay, from now on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually copy and paste or screenshot your questions and paste it here. I hope you can see it clearly. Yeah, I hope it's not too small. The only two things that I say to my kids are, so I don't say 마세요. I say 마 in 반말, 뛰지 마. Because, 70% of all Korean people live in some sort of apartment buildings. I think it's like 70% or 60%. So we don't have upstairs neighbors because we live on the top floor, but there are downstairs neighbors. So don't run, don't jump, and they're used to it. And then 너무 많이 먹지 마. Sometimes don't eat too much because they're kids that are growing up. Sometimes they like to eat, and I say, oh, you might have a stomach ache later. Sometimes. Okay. Christine, thank you so much. 정말 감사합니다. 다시 해서 정말 정말 감사합니다. This is good. I understand it completely. 다시 해 주셔서 정말 정말 감사합니다. You can say of course 정말, you can put it like that, or 정말 정말 separately, or just say like one time. But the reason that people often say 해 주셔서 in this kind of sentence is you're being formal and respectful with 감사합니다, especially 정말 감사합니다. And then 다시 해 주셔서, 해 주어서, but then you add the 시. So this is a fixed kind of expression. Thank you for doing it again. Thank you so much for thanking me for doing the live class. And Lakshmi, 감사합니다 for saying that you learned a lot. 그 다음에 또 어떤 질문이 있을까요? When do we usually start our live lessons? Last time for level 1 review, we started at 8 o'clock Korean time, 8 a.m. KST, but we started 30 minutes earlier because I noticed that for some people it's quite late, like if you're in Europe. 그리고 Sherry, here, let me move it over here. I struggle with the concept of friend, 친구. If my friend is 10 years younger than me, what do I call them? To talk about your friend who is 10 years old, it's okay to call them 친구. So the strict notion of friend or friend of the same age, I think it usually only applies to a relationship between native Koreans, in my opinion. The strictness of this rule only applies to Koreans, because if you're like 5 years older or 10 years younger than somebody, you can still call each other 친구, or introduce this person as he's my 친구, he's my 미국 친구, 프랑스 친구, he's my 인도네시아 친구. And then other Korean people who listen to that sentence won't question you further, like, you mean of the same age? They won't follow up with a question like that. But then between Korean people, 제 친구, and then they will automatically assume that two people must be of the same age. So you can refer to them as 친구 between a Korean person and a non-Korean person, or between two non-Korean people. It's okay. But then if you're wondering about what to call them, how to address them, you can just use the name I think it depends on what formality you're using. So if it's a Korean person that you use 반말투, just use their name. So and so, yeah, 현우야, 현우야, something like that. Thank you for the question. Level 2 오래 걸리지 않을 거예요. Level 2. Yeah. Level 2. You can do it, and I'm sure you are already there. 아하. 말다. So why is the real dropped from 지 말다? This is also common with lots of verbs with 팔다, 파세요, 살다. So to sell, to live, when you change these into the imperative form, 파세요, 사세요, 여기 사세요, 여기 사세요, yeah, longer vowel. So 팔다, please sell, and 말다, that's also to not do something. The same example, 마세요. So it's not only this verb, but it's common in many, not all, many verbs that end with real in the verb stem. 그리고 topic 2, topic level 2, with our level 2, no, we have 10 levels in our curriculum. If you want to take topic 2, you will have to at least study up to level 7 or 8 of our curriculum. Oh. Can we call random stranger 형? If you want to become a non-stranger with the other person really, really quickly, yes. If you call somebody that you don't know 형, it'll be a very interesting interaction. The other person will, depending on how you approach the person, it'll make the other person really like smile or laugh. Why are you calling me 형? And then you have to follow up really well in order to establish the relationship. So the simple answer is not really, but you can if you want. 그 다음에 실비아님, it's a great revision. Thank you so much. 정말 감사합니다. 그 다음에 can I use 주다 to talk about something that I'm doing on to my own benefit, like talking to myself, not necessarily asking or offering a favor? I'm thinking. Mostly no. Mostly not really in most cases. But it can be like, for example, if you are in a vlog and you are describing your own actions. So picture yourself in a coffee shop drinking nice coffee. My coffee is cold, by the way. And then you're describing something. And then 커피도 마셔줬어요. So imagine this as a caption, subtitle under your face in your vlog. Then you can. This is a very realistic scenario. So to lift my mood, so think of it as a narration. 저 카페, 예쁜 카페에 갔어요. 커피도 마셔주고 도너츠도 먹어줬어요. Yeah. You're not doing this for anybody else's benefit, but for your own. But you still use it because you're just describing your own actions. Yeah, in that situation, yes. But mostly in everyday situations, not really. Samantha님, 이미 다 알았는데 가르쳐 주셔서 정말 감사합니다. Thank you so much. That's the core idea for this review. You don't have to necessarily learn everything for the first time, but let's review together through our sessions like this one. We're gonna do level 3 in about 10 days on the 11th of September. So we're gonna schedule that soon as I have the thumbnail ready. Okay, we have another question about 말다. Yeah, it's an interesting verb, right? Is the verb 말다 sometimes used independently out of the structure 지 말다? I love this question. I absolutely love this question because it's something that I often wondered as a child. 말다. 걱정하지 마세요. 걱정 마세요. So you will sometimes see this form, but it's just a form that omits 걱정하지 마세요, and you can also 걱정을 마세요, but it's also like one step further developed from this portion. So 공부를 마세요, it's not natural. Let me say that if you use it, it's understood, but people don't generally use it. 걱정 마세요. Yeah, 걱정 마세요 is the most commonly used form in this method, I guess, in this style. But usually no. The 고 말다, this is more advanced. 공부 합격. Let's say passing an exam. 합격을 하고 말 거예요. So I am definitely going to pass this exam. 합격을 하고 말 거예요. So again, this is used in this advanced structure, not on its own. So yeah, let me wrap up my answer saying that it's mostly used in the 지 마세요 form, not on its own. But sometimes 걱정을 마세요, you will hear something similar to this. All right, I think we're going to wrap up today's live class. It's been going on for a long time. I'm sure many people are watching at a very late time in their countries. So thank you for your wonderful attention today. And please review this review session by watching the recording. It'll be on our YouTube channel, saved on our live in the live tab. So thank you. And if you want to study further with our courses, please consider visiting our website at talktomeInKorean.com. If you want to go to our course platform specifically, just add courses before talktomeInKorean.com, or just click on the link. There's only one link below in the description. And thank you so much for joining today. It is 9:22 a.m. in Korea. It's raining. The Korean weather has become very much like in some other East Asian countries. We have squall, rains just pouring down suddenly, and then it's really sunny. Yeah, I'm getting used to it. So it's raining. I'm sure as I am driving to the office in about 20 minutes time, it'll be very sunny because all the water in the clouds have gone. 네, 여러분, 오늘 수업은 여기까지 하겠습니다. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next live class as well as in our courses on our website. 감사합니다. Bye bye.